Welcome back to Beyond the Rings, Paris 24 Outreach, 30 short stories in 30 days. My name's Jeff Wells. I have the great privilege of being the founder of Beyond the Rings Olympic Ministry and to have been a part of the Paris 24 Outreach. While I have been a part of many previous Olympic outreaches with another wonderful group that I'll share about in another episode, Beyond the Rings Paris 2024 was the first Olympic outreach of what my hope and prayer is will be many, many Olympics using Olympic penetrating to share the truth with people that there's much more going on at the Olympics beyond the ring. This is another episode where we're focusing on the Paris 24 ground team members. Again, it was Destiny, Tony, myself, and Brandon. And today I want to talk to you about my dear friend, Tony Wright. Tony's the only one who is a part of the Paris 24 team who isn't currently a St. Louisan. However, Tony is a previous St. Louisan. That's how I know Tony. For many, many years, we had the privilege of being on at the same church at the same time. We were at Parkway Baptist Church. Tony, very evangelistic, very involved in missions, um, and just has a great heart. Love Tony and his wife, Julie, and their wonderful family. And so I've known Tony a long time, but a few years ago, Tony and Julie moved, and their family moved to Mississippi. And so we haven't been in the same city for some time now. But that's a great thing about being a part of the family of God. We may not always see each other, we may not always talk to each other, but we're always family. When we get back together, we can rekindle that very quickly and get down to being who we are as Christ followers together. And that's exactly what happened with Tony. Tony, you'll see in these pictures, is with people. Um, I thought I was outgoing and friendly and engaging. Tony runs circles around me. The man is just a machine. He just talks to people, very friendly, very approachable. He's a big guy, so people don't give him any trouble. But got a great smile and a wonderful personality and a heart for the lost people. It amazed me at the end of each day how when we were kind of recapping our days, Tony would share a lot of the great encounters that we'd had and opportunities that we made the most of, but just would continually return back to the brokenness, lostness of people in Christ, and a burden, a genuine burden for them. So early on, I knew that would be a great fit for our team. He called me years ago. But I think I need to be a part of the Olympics. He's known about it for years. Being a part of the mission team X18 at Parkway was very supportive of my previous involvement in the Olympic ministries, and but now entering a season of his life where he thought it was around, and he was a tremendous. In fact, one of the things in all the preparation that I did, working to get us to Paris 24, I did not do well preparing for us to be at Paris 2024. And a good example of that is the logistics of where we were staying, where the nearest metro was, what the route was going to look like, um, what like each day looked like, where we ought to go to scout out where people will be. I figured we'd just start dealing with that day in and day out once we got there, which we did. But Tony, being the man that he is, had explored through Google Earth the area around where we were staying, knew how far, actually how close the metro was, um, kind of studied the layout of the city and would he was our subway maestro. He would orchestrate our coming and going each day. And so without hesitation early on, I appointed him our ground team leader. And I have no regrets, and I'm never going to look back, Tony. So, as long as the Lord let you be on the ground during the Olympics, you're the ground team leader, brother. And he did a great job with that. I mean, just fantastic. We would go to a place, and we would share, and we would feel like, yeah, this is where we need to be, or he would get a sense that we this area is not so great. Let's go back to that other area, and we'd go over there. And so, when we were out and about, he's the leader. and I would follow his lead. Now, we would always talk about it back in our room at the end of the day as we prayed about and thought about what we would do the next day. But he was a ground team leader, and he was great. But not just in leading our team day in and day out when we were going out and sharing, but he lived being the evangelist. Um, he was always talking to people, and he was an encourager to the rest of us to be doing the same thing, be making the most of those opportunities, being friendly, to not hesitating or waiting to engage in the gospel conversation, not hesitating to calling people the importance of making a decision to follow Christ. And so Tony was a great part of the Paris 24 ground team. I would go so far as to say an integral part of the Beyond the Rings Paris 2024 outreach team, ground team. And I believe moving forward will be a very important part of the effectiveness and impactfulness of Beyond the Ring. So pray for my brother Tony, for his wonderful wife Julie, their family. Tony is a businessman in Mississippi. He manages. He's one of the managers at a big dealership there in their area, and part of a great church down there. So pray for Tony and his seeds that were planted through his obedience and effectiveness during the Paris 2024 game, and for future opportunity back on the ground, part of Beyond the Rings Olympic Outreach Ministry. So let me remind you, and we're hoping Tony can join us by video um, for our Paris 24 outreach celebration coming up on Sunday, September 29th, 3 p.m. at Concord Church on Tesson Ferry in South St. Louis County. If you're not in the St. Louis area, we are working on live streaming the event, so we'll get that information as we have confirmation about that. But we want to invite you to come and hear more stories, see pictures, video, see the pins that we collected while we were there, and pray for seeds that were already planted. But we will also use this celebration as a kickoff for the Italy 2026 Beyond the Rings Winter Olympics outreach. And we will take a love offering for that outreach. And so we invite you to come join us in person. We'll be serving desserts and drinks. And if not, then online as we have the live stream confirmed and set up. So please come join us for more as we celebrate what God did in Paris 2024 during the Olympic Games through the Beyond the Rings ground team, support team. Thanks again for checking in today for this episode of Beyond the Rings Paris 24, 30 and 30. Until next time, God bless.